Everybody, you're tuning in to draftingtutorials.com. My name is Casey Kepley. I hope you guys are having a good day today. Today's video I wanted to cover layer properties. And if you're not familiar with what layers are, they're basically layers that you can assign different objects to, or dimensions, or text within a drawing, and you can assign them to a specific layer. Now, why do you want to do this? Basically, I'll show you here in this video why that comes in handy for you, especially when you start getting into drawings. So for this example, I just drew, this was part of a project that we did in intermediate AutoCAD, and I just drew a layout of a, kind of a floor plan for a kitchen. So what I did is I created layers though, okay? And right now, we'll go down, ignore all this stuff in the top where it says final project, and just ignore all that for right now. That deals with X referencing, and we'll get into that at a later date. But your layers, when you start a new drawing, matter of fact, I think what I'll do is I'll start a new one here for you, just to make it easier, just to show you what the default settings are on standard templates for AutoCAD. So if you go to layer, you'll notice you're going to start out with 0. Okay, this is the default layer, and it's just called 0. Now what you can do from here is you can create a new layer. Alright, so you just click new layer here, and we'll just name it objects, and we'll change the color. So I just click inside the little box here, and I can change the color of it to magenta or whatever you want. Hit OK. Let's go ahead and create another one. We'll call it dimensions. And we'll create one called walls. And I'm going to change the dimension color here to red. Change the walls to I don't know, we'll use green. And of course these colors that I'm using are just for the example. They may be different within your company that you go to work for, or if you're setting up your own company. So we'll go ahead and we'll close this real quick. Now I just want to show you what I'm talking about here. Turn ortho on. Basically what you can do is you can select a different layer. So if you were drawing a floor plan, you could draw it out, and of course you'd want to have your units set to architectural, or something in architecture if you're drawing floor plans, because it's going to measure in feet. And you'll notice if you look at my cursor here, you'll look at the distance that it's traveling, the line. It's measured in decimal. So for this example, don't pay attention to that. But we'll go with 20, and then we'll bring this up. Turn my snaps on here real quick. Let's see. Don't know why my snaps aren't working right now. Oh, it's because I need to turn them on. So we'll draw this across. I'll show you some of these commands that I'm using at a later time, but just for the sake of this video, I'm not going to show you what I'm doing here to get that exact. What I'm doing is offsetting. This is a command that you can use. So I'll go back here, just type in offset, hit enter, and I can set a distance in here. So we'll go with 1.50 just for this example. And it says select object to offset. So what I can do actually, before I do that, I'm going to join this. So type in join, and you can join everything or multiple lines like I'm doing right now, and you can turn them into one line or one object. Okay, so now we'll do the offset at 1.50. We're going to select this thing, and now we've got our walls. Okay, I'm going to just create a couple of objects in here real quick, like a circle, and maybe we'll use that as a table. We could create another table over here. Alright, so right now I've got the walls. If you look at the layer up here, they're set to walls. Now if I want to change the furniture within the plan, the floor plan, if I want to change that to a different layer, I'm probably going to want to do that for the sake of what I'm going to show you here. So select those, drop it down, and we'll change them to object. So see how it changed the color of them? So now if you highlight this, it's on the object layer. Okay, and then we'll do one more here. We'll go with linear, and we'll drop this down, select it to dimensions. Now it's green right now. Simply change it to dimensions. And I don't have the height of my text set properly, so I'm gonna have to zoom in so you guys can see it here. You can change all that in the dimension styles, and I'll show you in a later video how to do that. But for right now, we'll just focus on layers. So here's your layers right here. And what you can do with layers is pretty cool. You can go in if you want. Let's say you've got a client that you want to show the drawing to, and let's say you want to get rid of dimensions on the drawing, so it just shows, you know, your walls and objects. You click on this here. It says this layer cannot be frozen because it is the current layer. So what you have to do is change the layer to say objects, go layer properties, select dimensions, then hit freeze, and you'll see a little snowflake pop up. It means the layer is frozen. And what you'll notice now is the dimensions are gone. Well, if you want to, let's say you just want to show the walls, right? So we're on walls proper, or the walls layer. We'll go to objects, freeze that one as well, and now all we have is the walls. So you can control your layers that way when you're playing around with layers. Now you can also get to some of this stuff from these little icons here as well. See the snowflake there, it says freeze. So you can handle and control a lot of this from this little icon box, but I find it more useful if you just go with layer properties, because it lays it all out for you so you know what you're doing. We'll go ahead and unfreeze those. So you just click on the snowflake again, and you'll see the little light bulb or the sun come back on. Now your layers are back. The other thing you can do is you can lock a layer. So let's say you don't want let's say you hand this drawing off to someone else and they're working on it, modifying things. You can lock layers on the drawing before you hand it over to them. So let's say I don't want dimensions or my walls to go away. Alright? And what we're doing here is we're protecting our drawing from modifications that someone else might do. And I'm going to show you real quick what I'm talking about. Let's say, for example, you're handing this drawing off to someone who just moves objects around in a drawing. Okay? If you're doing that, you might want to hand your drawing over with certain layers frozen. That way when they go in and they start, say maybe removing a table due to a change order, they could do that. And let's see here. Those are locked. And let's see what it does here. it's just going to delete the table. So I'm going to undo that, show you one more time, hit the erase button, select the window. Now you see how my wall is grayed out here. It goes from green to grayed out. You would think it's going to erase it, right? And if someone else is modifying your drawing, they're not paying attention to that. When they'll say, you know, you didn't have this wall layer locked, it would erase that wall layer. But because we have it locked, it didn't. It automatically says, nope, we're not going to erase that. And so therefore it eliminates any type of errors that someone else might make on your drawing, which is very important, you know, when you're handing drawings back and forth between drafters. So it's a way to protect your drawings, and that's your layer property. You can also delete layers. You can do a new layer in viewports, and I'll cover that in a different video. You can set a layer current and delete layers right here. So if I want to delete objects layer, you know, I can just hit that button right there and it's going to remove it. You can also change your line types right in here. You just click on line type. You can change the line weight. And the other thing from layer properties is that right here where it says plot, if you select that button, you'll see a red circle appear. That means that layer is not going to show up when you plot preview. So just to give you an idea of what that means, let's say I didn't want to plot my walls to the drawing. When I go to plot and I hit continue, set that, you hit preview, look what happened, all my walls are gone. See how they're gone right there? All the walls are gone. Well, to get those back, just go to layer properties, unselect plot, hit plot again, extend center plot. And if I had a page manager set up on this tab, I wouldn't have to reset all these configurations. And now they're back. So that's your layer properties. That's all I have for today's video on layers. You're tuning in to draftingtutorials.com. If you found this information beneficial, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.